These papers really, I don't, apex damage, right? Hi everybody, this is Retrokid Reviews, doing a quick Toku news on, well, actually review of the match everyone kind of saw coming that should have been a thing 60 years almost in the making, yeah. Godzilla vs. Kong, so hats off to Legendary for making a great franchise. And God willing, they keep the rights after 2021 if they're renegotiating with Toho for future movies. Honestly, at this point, it's a nice little bow for the whole thing, but we'll get to that later in the plot. But before we get to that, got some quick Toku news. There was a new one and done Power Rangers comic, mainly focused on Astroma during in space, her training and all that. I think she had a bit of a tournament arc kind of vibe. So Card 2 Iron Lands already talked about that comic. It's a one and done, meaning she'll show up for Power Rangers issue 6, the Omega Ranger version of the team. That's going to be interesting, and I can't wait to see that. I'll probably pick up a couple of issues just to catch up, honestly, on the Omega Ranger side of things. Also, Card 2 for my American audience to Toei's official US channel. For Kamen Rider Black, yes, the Century King himself is technically illegal right now as I speak, so definitely check it out while you get the time. So yeah, that all being said, news-wise, there really isn't going to be much on Godzilla's end other than, I think, Singularity Point, that anime is supposed to be coming out, cartoon the Netflix trailers at this point. Monstrosities has kind of been covering that, and I think, Shin Ultraman, if I'm not mistaken, that I might review, hopefully, because I did review Shin Godzilla. It's supposedly a sequel to Shin Godzilla, so if anyone needs a refresher card of one of my reviews on that. So that being said, let's get to the plot, which is basically Godzilla versus Kong for the battle of either who gets to be the right to be the king and stuff. And it's very wrestling based when you get to the actual proper fight itself. Other than that, it's really damn good. I'm gonna be straight honest with you guys. It's the fights wise are good. Everyone's really complained for the last couple of years when it comes to both MonsterVerse and classic Toku Godzilla that the human plot is always sidelined, or basically they don't really focus or to agriculture or to identity politics or things like that. Unfortunately, if you're going to compare it to wrestling, you're going to have to call them the refs, because you need something to ref the room and give you breathing after like a really cool like spot or something like that. Again, in wrestling terms. As a Toku fan, it actually had a lot layered stuff. On Godzilla's end of things for the human characters, by the way, all the human characters were basically in two groups. There was one for Kong, one for Godzilla. In Godzilla's case, was very Heisei focused, very like almost Millennium era Godzilla with a certain character that shows up at the end. By the way, I'm going to spoil mostly the ending. If you want to go in with any expectation for right now, it's really good. The runtime is a lot shorter than King of the Monsters last time around on Godzilla's end. It still has that weird, young, dumb fun you got if you saw my review of Kong Skull Island. Go there. That all being said, spoilers here on out, so how about that Mechagodzilla? Yeah, also time code in case anybody needs to know spoilers going forward, and my final verdict, I'll probably put that in the time codes as well, because, yeah, I need to get that going off the ground. I should have done this since, geez, I want to say like 2016 at best when time codes were a thing. Anyway, back on point. Starting off with the cast, they have basically a good list of like well-knowns like Alexander Skarsgård, Millie Bobby Brown, Rebecca Hall, Brian Tyree Hill. I'll start with Tyree Hill for the human characters. He's basically the reason why I think you get primarily he's in that half of the Godzilla human plot. That's basically explaining why Godzilla was getting a little crazier than usual, why he's destroying more people than usual. But it wasn't really what the news were like referring to, like, oh, it's him going back into the old habit like he was back in 2014. Card to that old review, see how far I've come for vlogging this, no less, and reviewing. Anyway, that being said, he actually was going after Apex sites, and that's why it's the company they named to basically be relevant to Apex Predators, which Godzilla is, and humans, this corporation wants to make their own Apex Predator to basically go up against Godzilla, hence why we make a Godzilla later in the movie. I got a lot to say about his design. At first, I thought it was, meh, but by the end of the fight, I was like, oh, you actually can make a duplicate of 2014 Godzilla. That's not bad. Again, I'll get to it CG-wise. Getting onto Kong's end, he's basically still in Skull Island, but in an outpost created by Monarch 50 years later since that movie. Skarsgård is on that end of the human plot, and really needs to do, along with Rebecca Hollis, is basically find his people and basically prove that the Hollow Earth thing was a theory that makes sense. Hollow Earth was mainly mentioned in King of the Monsters by the villain from Billy Madison, is how I knew him for years on that. I know he's been a character actor since, oh god, I want to say the Westworld, but yeah, my bad on that. Also, speaking of past human characters from King of the Monsters, Millie Bobby Brown and Kyle Chandler came back to basically quarterback anything to combat any BS on Godzilla's end. I guess in universe politics wise, I don't know. I thought Chandler was gonna be straight up a cameo, but turns out he got a lot more scenes than I thought. Thank God. Yeah. Basically on the human side, it was definitely Billy Bobby Brown's. Sorry if I mispronounced. Cast list as always down below. It was definitely her time to shine on the Godzilla's end. It's like, okay, I can actually like try to forward my way through it like I did with the Stranger Things series, but the reason why that worked on her end is because she has people her age to carry a scene, and it's a little mixed match. Like, I got nothing against Julian Dennison, I guess the semi-love interest for her. Weird, I guess. I don't know. / I guess, school best friend. I don't know. Also, when I was watching, I was kind of getting weird vibes of, like, oh, you can actually see Millie getting a little older in this movie. Like, not in, like, a reshoot kind of way. It's like, oh, she's not, like, 10 anymore, and, man, it's been, like, almost 5 years since the first season of Stranger Things, watching this on my end. Preference aside, she's doing good what she can with the material, and I'm not going to be judging on that. The actual youngest character is Jaya. I don't know if I got the name right. She's deaf and is the only one that can actually communicate with Kong later on in the plot. Everyone freaked out. I was like, wait, the monkey can talk? I'm like, yeah, dude can talk. It's a very nuanced from what I've known from Kong culture and Kong fans in general. By the way, shout outs to, what's his name? Oh yeah, Big Jack Films. Yeah, check out his non-spoilers, or I guess sporadic spoilers like me, review of, just that, on his channel. He's a huge Kong fan. He made a Kong fan film. I'll link down below if we don't got time for the cards. And, hopefully, again, Jack, the challenge is here. If you want to do a full spoilers podcast react on my first, hopefully new, of many, God willing, podcasts, the Retro Writers, and be my first honorary Retro Writer, balls in your court, Jack. Just saying. That all being said, for the rest of the human characters, it's pretty much the same. We gotta do this kind of vibe, and they technically have a human villain, but he gets sidelined and basically tail whipped very, very later on by the ending. So, anyway, fights themselves when it comes to actual Kong and Godzilla, like you saw in the trailers. With the battleship fight, it was insane. You could tell it was definitely Godzilla's home turf, and Kong is like basically treasuring the waters and just getting like a Jaws / I guess Die Hard kind of vibe when Godzilla goes okay, sorry for the TOS on this one, but yeah, he shoots it up, his signature atomic blast like he did in King of the Monsters underwater. And Kong's just, like, jumping out like it's Die Hard. Like, oh, shit, what did I get myself into? It was actually really fun. For the Hollow Earth environment itself, they actually, later on in Kong's human plot, they do make it and they do see it. And there really is some cool visual imagery of Kong going after their, this Hollow Earth's monsters. So, like, you can already see he's trying to, like, rebound after getting his ass handed on round 1 of Godzilla. It's multi-rounded, if you can believe that. If there's ever, like, a Snyder Cut for this, I would love to see, like, the first fight be round 1 and the final fight be, like, round 3 or something. Or, like, final round when it comes to Mechagodzilla. But yeah, for the Hollow Earth stuff, it's actually not bad. Visually speaking, the CG has gone leaps and bounds than what even 2014's Godzilla can do. So, that all being said, I love it. That's a really good subplot. I am kinda yes and kinda no right on King Kong's axe that he uses on Godzilla. It's another, like, underground tomb that Godzilla had back in the last movie, in King of the Monsters. And everyone apparently in the kaiju community thinks that he basically was a god to Atlanteans. That'd be really cool if it was, very ancient aliens. But I kind of buy it, as far as the lore for this version of Godzilla. I could kind of get it here in the States. In Kong's case, similar thing, but, like, multiple generations of Kong. Just basically build the place from scratch, and it's way huger than the human cast. It was very nice. I think going back to the for Jaya or Gia, she's played by Kaylee Holtley. Hope I got that last name right. My bad. To her parents because I think she's actually deaf. I know there have been some actual disabled actors throughout the industry, but it's really nice that not only this was her first big break child acting wise, but this is like the first big franchise, big everything. Like she's did pretty good as far as like most of the human characters and child acting wise. She was not a huge distraction. There was like a lot of moments with her and Kong before the Godzilla fight that they were like very like honest with each other. Like you could tell there was a history, and her signing was to the point like you would with anyone with that disability. In Rebecca Hall's case, that I guess acted like her surrogate mother. Wow, there have been some moments when she was signing and her eye was like really coming out. I'm like, ooh, you had like a few weeks of this, didn't you? That aside, it did break a little bit of immersion, but you can see that her heart was in the right place with this performance, so I got to give her that at the very least. So yeah, all that out of the way, let's just get to the fights. Like I said, yeah, Godzilla wrecked, Kong in round one. Kong basically had a rebound match, with a bunch of, Hollow Earth monsters. And I swear, no one has talked about this yet in the full spoilers. I'm almost 100% certain I saw Gamera. I could be wrong. I could have been mad deep in the hype when I was riffing the movie. By the way, yeah, I was definitely riffing the movie. I was riffing Godzilla's voice most of the time, and Kong's, you could tell the human plot wise, it was definitely into Kong's favor. Like, oh, he might do an upset here. This might happen, but nah, they kind of, I guess, in ROH terms, like Code of Honored it. The minute they saw Mechagodzilla, by the time we got to the third act, like, Godzilla got fed up, moved his ass all the way to China, where, like, I think the last Apex site was, where Millie's human cast was. And, wow, he basically, to Adam Wingard, you actually did what a lot of Godzilla directors here in the States can't even think of doing. Just kind of play with it. Just actually play with these characters like you're playing with your toys when you're a kid. It feels like that sometimes when you see the fights. It's like, okay, so Kong's back in the city. Everyone knows that Kong's good in the city, right? Up until people shoot him down. But since he's twice his height than he originally was back in like the 30s and 40s, okay, we can make him like jump around like usual, and then parkour through a lot of like the atomic breath shots that Godzilla was like doing his signature moves, and it's like, okay, I'm jumping. Oh fuck, I got to parkour. It's like thumbs, and also I think the joke for everyone when they were predicting the fight was that yeah, Kong's got thumbs. He can basically ground pound. Like I was thinking he was gonna do a lot of like rubbing him on like buildings, like putting him on a cage in an MMA match, or well, a lot of people also thought on like the wrestling side do some street fighting, like makeshift like a boss into like a spear, like he did earlier to show that he can make spears with trees and like the outpost site. But other than that, my battery's about to dry for my phone, I bet. But I'm gonna get to the Mechagodzilla stuff that ended it, which basically became like this like movie's equivalent, like the BVS moment where just Doomsday comes in and have to like break the feud, and it's like, all right, fuck it, we gotta get this guy first. Like, agree to disagree, long story there. Minus saying Mothra. Yeah, there was also a Toku meme going around of, like, if they had to go there, like, I guess Kong or Godzilla was gonna be like, save Mothra, and, like a weird, like, bioacoustic, like, language. Which might have been a thing, I don't know. Did I just justify that meme? No. So yeah, Mechagodzilla's, form was actually not bad. I'm looking off of the toy, but in the actual CG, it wasn't that bad. The last time I seen a Mechagodzilla in CG, sadly, was Ready Player One. No retro review because I think the author or the characters in the actual book itself is a lot stupider than you think. Man is a Jedi did a whole breakdown of that. I might, if I'm bored and I just want to like have something to hate watch, I might. Again, no promises, but he looked good. When he was awakening, with his whole subplot was basically killing a bunch of skull crawlers to, like, get him used to, like, taking down a monster, and they used, one of the Ghidorah's, skulls to basically, I guess, bioacoustically and cybernetically now, use, Serizawa's son, who, for those who remember who Serizawa was in this franchise, that was Ken Watanabe. So Ken Watanabe's character's kid is controlling Mechagodzilla to the point where he basically has I guess a seizure, dies, and then basically Mechagodzilla goes buck wild, like, like anybody does when you write this version of the character. It's like, okay, we have him in human control, and then boom, oh crap, we don't have control. We might need Godzilla here. It was like that. And I guess going back to Tyree Hill for a minute. His whole character, for those who want to know last minute for the human plots, he was kind of a conspiracy theorist that might have worked out Monarch and had to, like, move to Apex to, I guess, get a pension or something. And it turns out, apparently being a widower helps out when you want to spill the coffee on the control panel on Mechagodzilla, because that helped out later on in the fight of the final half. Other than that, I could really go all day talking about how insane this movie is. But you have to see it for yourself, despite the spoiler. So, time code here for the final verdict. That all being said, I highly recommend this movie. On the Toku scale, it's definitely a 10 out of 10. On basically a normal movie, 7.5 out of 10. It's definitely average. It's still young, dumb fun. It's really good. No mention of, like, weird-ass politics at this point. At this point in the Godzilla franchise, they were, like, referencing themselves like a Heisei movie. Like, I thought, you know, when I think the van shot of Millie in the trailers was like, oh, that kind of reminded me a lot of, like, Godzilla 2000 and stuff like that. Adam Wingard definitely did his homework for this one. I recommend seeing this in theaters when you get fully vaxxed for COVID and all that stuff. I saw this on Max. I might rewatch it in theaters because some have been opening up here in New York finally, so hopefully they'll have a healthy box office, because if you support this movie and, like, crush it like a couple of weeks in the box office, despite COVID conditions and despite being the first actual major blockbuster coming back after the pandemic, could pretty much give Warner, I guess, a bit of an edge on renegotiating with Toho to get another movie out. I don't know what they're gonna do next. I honestly don't think they can do a Final Wars, because that movie's insane, and I think final cards here to when that version of Godzilla took down Gino, you know, that one, you know, the 98 one that we don't talk about anymore. Yeah, that one. It would be funny if they did a callback to that, but something tells me they won't. So, finally, end cards coming up. Go to my previous video here, which was me in character getting my ass handed by Laura for not remembering to review X-Men number 19 for the Hickman run. And go the other hand here to me talking about, I think, the Suicide Squad trailer. I forgot to mention that last time. Anyway, that all being said, take care, subscribe, non-existent Kaiju or Monarch shirt. I should really get some Monarch merch now that I think about it. Here for to sub to the channel, notification down below. And to YouTube, I forgot to mention this in the, when I was doing the X News. Why are you getting rid of the dislike button? I mean, I'm a very small channel. I'm not even, like, 1K views or 1K subs. And you're telling me I can't have the dislike button? Like, why? I know, oh, it helps, you know, not having, like, negative discourse and stuff like that, but I'm like, really, Susan? Really? Forgetting who's actually running the damn place for once. I'm Retrokid Reviews. That is my time, and let them fight, but keep them fighting. Honestly, keep them fighting, guys. It's a really good fight. Highly recommend the movie. Please watch with friends, you know, COVID-wise safe, or if you're in the theater, try to sneak in some booze. It's actually a good movie to watch drunk. No joke.